When I was a kid, I thought heaven was all clouds, golden gates, and maybe a core of angels who never miss a note. But then I started reading manga, and let's just say my expectations got a little warped. Turns out, manga artists have some pretty wild ideas about what happens after you die. Today, I am taking you on a tour of the weirdest, most unexpected heavens in manga, where the afterlife might look more like a DMV, a fever dream, or a cosmic group chat you can't leave. Let's get started. First up, Heaven's Lost Property, or Sora no Otoshimono, if you want to flex your Japanese. Now picture this, you finally make it to heaven, you're expecting hugs from lost pets, grandparents, and maybe a bottom's ice cream bar. Instead, you wake up in Synapse, a city floating in the sky, but it's less paradise and more airport lounge at 2 AM. And the angels here, they're literally stuck in pods, like their afterlife came with a mandatory nap time that never ends. Also, there's this thing called the rule that grants wishes, but honestly it's about as helpful as your phone's autocorrect when you're trying to text I'm fine and it sends I'm fired instead. And here's the kicker, if you die, your friends just forget you ever existed. Imagine spending all of your high school trying to be remembered, only for heaven to hit you with a hard reset. Synapse feels less like a reward and more like being left unread by your crush, but your crush being the universe itself. The more you learn about it, the more you realize maybe eternal rest isn't all it's cracked up to be. I mean, I've had more exciting weekends waiting for my laundry to finish. Next up is Ultra Heaven. If you ever woken up from a dream and thought, what did I eat last night? This manga is for you. Ultra Heaven isn't a place you go when you die. It's more like a state of mind, a trip, literally. The main character, Kabu, is chasing the ultimate high, and the drug is Ultra Heaven, and it sends him on these wild, trippy journeys. 1 minute, he's floating through a world of neon Buddhas and melting clocks. The next, he's questioning if he even exists. Honestly, it's the kind of heaven where you expect to see your old math teacher riding a giant goldfish while reciting your social security number backwards. It's beautiful, it's unsettling, and it's definitely not the kind of afterlife you'd want to explain to your parents. If heaven is supposed to be peaceful, Ultra Heaven's like when you finally get a day off and you go to bed and slowly but surely you close your eyes, but your brain won't stop reminding you of every embarrassing thing you have ever done. Why? Please. Why? Now, let's talk about Konosuba, which might have the most relatable heaven of all time. So, you die. You're expecting maybe warm light or a heartful reunion. Instead, you wake up in a waiting room with a fluorescent lighting that's definitely not up to code, and a goddess who's less divine guide and more customer service rep who's already had 3 cups of coffee and is done with your shit. Aqua the goddess gives you a choice. Number 1, go to a boring heaven, her words not mine. 2, be reborn in Japan with no memories, that's also not a bad choice. Or number 3, if you're lucky, get reincarnated into a fantasy world with all your memories and a bonus cheat item. And the way she describes heaven, it's so dull that most souls are like, yeah, I'll take my chances fighting monsters, thanks. Honestly, it's the afterlife equivalent of being offered a plain oatmeal for breakfast when there's a whole buffet in the next room. Even when Kazuma finally defeats Demon King and gets sent back to heaven, it's still just a holding area with more paperwork and an awkward conversation about his life choices. At one point, Kazuma literally records heaven as a teleport location just so he can come back and mess with the system. Honestly, if heaven is just another office with more fields to fill out, maybe reincarnation as a cabbage isn't the worst option. So, why do manga artists make heaven so strange? Maybe because the idea of a perfect afterlife is kind of boring. Or maybe deep down we all know that life is messy, and so is whatever comes next after your death. It's like finally getting a weekend with no plans, then realizing you have no idea what to do with yourself. Perfection sounds nice until you're actually living in it, and then you start to wonder if you left the stove back on Earth. Manga uses heaven as a blank canvas to explore our weirdest hopes and fears. Sometimes it's trippy, sometimes it's lonely, and sometimes it's just a cosmic version of being ghosted. So that's my tour of the strangest heavens in manga. Which one would you pick? Synapse, the psychedelic mindscape, or Konosuba's afterlife waiting room? Or would you just take your chances with reincarnation and hope you came back as a cat? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this, hit like and subscribe. And remember, if you ever find yourself in a floating city full of sleeping pods, maybe just ask for the Wi-Fi password.